Hey, hi. So I was feeling a little creative today, and so I got some things set up to begin moving in some ways that I'm very excited for, but also a little nervous. But at the same time, if I weren't being stretched, then it wouldn't be worth pursuing, right? Ow. I don't know why that card just stabbed me, but that's fine. So what I'm going to be doing is that thing where I build a spread. Yeah, I'm going to be doing that again. Also, I discovered something else today that I guess I've been overlooking for I don't know how long. And I'm really excited about that just to experiment with it. I'm in a very experimental mood, I feel. Oh, oops. Excuse me. So that's that. And I couldn't get started on that. But I was just thinking about, I don't know, spread building and how I use these and what came out for those specific ones. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I do that again? So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to maintain decent posture. I got a very specific sort of angle that I'm working with today, so the other light is off. So if I turned on my webcam, like, y'all wouldn't see me, right? If you don't believe me, hey. Oh, there I am, lurking. Kinda feel like somebody's watching me. Ain't got no privacy. Alright. So let's build a spread. Let's have some fun and let's whatever needs to be whatever needs to be spoken on. There's the one card. The first card is, we'll do the title first. The title, the number of cards, and then the theme instead of the other way around. And I'm not using my surface tonight, so I'm actually going to keep these down. The Barbarian spread, girl. Savages, savages. Okay, well, how many cards are we going to have in this Barbarian spread? Ooh, and I'm starting a little more. How many cards? Ooh, almost. You gotta either flip over or fall on the table. I'll take it. 4 cards. Oh, that's kind of low. And what's the theme gonna be? And we're actually gonna do this a little different today. Okay, can I get what the theme is, please? Thank you. I'm like, hello? The dwarf. Okay, I actually like this. So dwarves live in the under earth. They live under the earth, and they have these very expansive sort of kingdoms that are typically very industrial, and they're fairly like wealthy because all the precious gems and ores, right? It's also kind of sort of in the realm of Hades, which is fine. That's why Hades is also associated with wealth, because as the god of the underworld, that's where all those precious things are. So now what we're going to do is... Oh, man, this may be a little longer, but I'm actually going to pull these face down, and so we'll discover what this is when we get there. And this is 4 cards. I was going to use both of the Weaver Tarots, but I'll only use one. I'll use the darker one because it might show up better. How do I want to lay these out, though? I'm going to set these over here as a reminder of what we're going for. So yeah, the theme here is about It's about there's a subterranean theme. It's about the foundations, the groundwork, kind of sort of the foundation underlying the foundation, subconscious, and the gems hidden in that realm. So, are we gonna be? How many cards is this? Oh, it's only two. The Three of Wands and the Three of Swords. So, what's up with 333, y'all? Can we talk about that real quick? Like, Three of Pentacles, Three of Wands, Three of Swords. Work. I don't know. What's at the bottom of the deck? The Three of Cups? Nah, the Seven of Wands. That would have been too convenient. And then there's the Star. Okay. So I'll give this a few more, and then I'll cut it, and I'll pull randomly. One more. It just feels like. Those are the four cards we're going to be working with. This is the deck. Oh, I think it's this one. Yeah, it is. This is what we're going to be working with. Is y'all ready for this? I'm a little tired. I'm a lot tired, honestly. But it's in these in-between realms that my Piscean brain comes alive. Let's see. Are these showing up? Yeah, more or less. Ooh, that Ten of Cups. Gorgeous. Now, see, that's what I was talking about. There's the eye that's looking up. Hold up, wait. At that one, at that star, and then there's the other star that's being ignored. For better or worse. So, it's the Barbarian spread. And there's four cards. The Barbarian is the Knight of Swords, I believe. Yeah, it's the Knight of Swords. I was gonna deep condition my hair. I can't forget to do that before I lay down to go to bed. Because I want to wash it tomorrow. I want to do something with my hair again. I think I want to get it braided back up. Because it just grows better. Okay. So a Barbarian spread. And then we have the Three of Wands and the Three of Pentacles that came out. 33 is a 6. I don't want to do this. I mean, I guess I could just like... Oh. Don't ask me why it's this way. But this is how I'm feeling it. Even though technically it should probably be something like this, right? Yeah, we can do it that way. And so what we're actually going to do is, so I can get this on the table, we're going to shift it this way. We'll put these up here, and then I'll put the cards down here. So, only 4 cards, y'all. Are you sure? Yeah, okay. First card. Should I? Oh, no. Ooh, we're doing these all upright. That's interesting. This is the first card. We've seen her. The Pillar. We've been seeing you a lot, actually. That was almost with second card. These cards are a little big, but I love it. And I'm gonna be reading the book for those as well, you know, because reading is way fundamental. Girl, that's a whole bunch. If that's less than three, if that's three or less, we'll take them. Oh, it's three exactly. One, two, three. Oh, it's actually four. It's actually four. So we're just gonna take the. Actually, we're gonna look at them. Temperance, the Seven of Wands. No, the Seven of Coins. Sorry. The Three of Cups and the Six of Cups. I could take that Three of Cups since that's the only one that we haven't seen, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna put these back, and I'll leave all y'all together. And if y'all want to come back out, I will honor y'all the second time. Look at this. The High Sage at the top. The other card with all the moon cycles. I don't know which. Hold up. So for some reason, the Nine of Swords was just like flipped over. So I could take the Nine of Swords, but nah. That can come back out if it wants to as well. There we go. Thank you. Third card, please. Number 3. Girl, how many is that? 2? Fine, we'll take it. It's the last 2? I did say 4, so yep, that's what we're gonna do. This will be 3, this will be 4. Bottom of the deck is the Chariot. We just saw the Chariot. It just came out with something else. I don't remember. Ooh, okay, I love this. I love how these are showing up right now. The Chariot. Y'all see that eclipse up there? Like we just saw? Mm-hmm. It's opened the gateway for forward movement into realms that we've yet to experience. Okay. So when it comes to this first card, we have the Three of the Three of Cups. That last three that we were missing. So we've seen all the threes. 33, 33. Interesting. Hold on, wait. Let me get this timestamp real quick, y'all. Let me get the timestamp real quick. It's 13 minutes. Okay. I'll say 13. I'll type it so I remember. Oh my gosh. I could do that like more often. And then I don't have to stop as long to get my phone. Anyway. So the Three of Cups, that's interesting. If this is where you join me, hey, Hierofish, Patrick, welcome. I felt like being a little creative, but like spiritually guided. So there's some other things that I just got sort of the idea to do, but for that stuff, I'm gonna wait until tomorrow because I'm tired. But then I was like, I could do this. I haven't done this in a while, and I really enjoyed it the first 2 times I did it. So this is the Barbarian spread. It's a 4-card spread, and the theme is kind of sort of subterranean influences. It's things sort of the foundation beneath the foundation, the ground beneath your feet, and it could also be about elevating oneself, right? Because if the barbarian is a fighter, then it's like we're fighting our way to the surface. We're making our way through a cave to get to the breaking light. So we've seen all of the threes. The fourth 3 just came out, and it's the Three of Cups, the Witch. Now, in this card, she got one hand out. What the hand doing? Some magic-y things. She's sprinkling something in something. With the other hand, she holding a book. She looking at the book. She got this smile on her face. It looked like she got some drinks. I could use a drink. She got this black cat. She's got all the ingredients on the table. She's got some closed books. It looks like there's a crystal ball or some kind of crystal ball. She's wearing green and purple, which I love, and she has a red belt. And then there's like this turquoisey greenish blue sash that she kind of sort of has on. It looks a little extra, but that's fine. Um, so we got the heart and the crown influences with the green and the blue. She's dropping the seasonings into the cauldron, and that's the thing rising from the cauldron. There's also a fire in the back. And what is this? Is this like a jar of butterflies? Some kind of like bubble tank of butterflies or something? Let's see where it is. That. I'm like, what is that? I actually kind of sort of like, I dig her. Like, look at her. Look at what she's wearing. Yes, it's work. Y'all see that? Like that like greenish blue sash thing that she has around her waist. It's like, what's the point of that? Like, and she already got like this little belt on. So, hey, that's why I was like, you know what? She a little extra. That's fine. So there's a recipe that we're following, right? But here we have the pillar. So let's get into the book. If I had, this is the Barbarian spread, but that's just the title. That's just the title. The actual theme is the dwarf. It's 11:09. That's my new angel number. Next time I look at the clock, it'll probably be 11:12. Let me stop. Okay, 1 second. Let me get on over here to my. Here we go. The Weaver Tarot. Do-do-do. Go to the Suit of Cups. They were so nice, and they got back to me so quickly. I love it. The Three of Cups. Why am I going to the Three of Cups? I'm supposed to be going to the Pillar. Interestingly enough, though, it's another three. Right? The Empress, she's a three. So we've seen the Three of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, and the Three of Swords. Now the Three of Cups also with the Pillar coming out. Three is a very catalytic number, and the witch is cooking, right? And if this is about something subterranean, this could be the okay. So this is roughly. This is going to be the underground. This is going to be the surface, right? And then these are going to be what's above the surface. Or we could take it the other way and say this is above ground. Yeah, I want to do it that way. This is above ground. This is the crest. This is the surface. This is basement level 1. This is basement level 2. Now, basement level 1 might be where like the gems are. Basement level 2 is when we're getting closer to the magma, but in the magma, that's where things are forged, right? Also, it's the dwarves that crafted the weaponry of the Asgardians, right? The dwarves made Mjolnir. And Russell was actually talking about them lately. Excuse me. Hey, I caught it. Hold on, wait. Let me flip the colors again. There we go. 11:11. Can y'all see it? There we go. Make a wish. Boop, 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 boop. So if this is what's on the surface, okay, this is we'll go with it. So this is giving me again. This is the is she in reverse? I think no. Actually, she's not. This is a pillar. We see the star up there. Yeah, above the surface. Even though the star is pointing, so the star is actually pointing under the ground. Underground could also be something hidden, right? Um, like an underground club or the Underground Railroad, right? And with the book that she's holding, her ingredients are of the earth, but the knowledge is deeper. And so I think I'm feeling this high high priestess. I'm feeling a high priestess energy here. And again, we actually saw the high sage come out, and you could see that they both have these moon cycles on them. The moon cycles are featured on both cards. And so there's this feeling that this empress, this pillar energy, is taking the knowledge of the high priestess and is utilizing her talents in order to make manifest something on the surface connected to all of this. So we're going to start here, and then we're actually going to build up. Yeah, so we'll actually see what this is about, but that's my initial feeling here. It's about utilizing the materials that you have in the space that you're in above ground to accomplish, how do I say it? Because it's not hidden motives or hidden agendas. It's about utilizing things in a way that isn't yet done, utilizing things in a way that's not currently being utilized to give birth to something new. It's also a very alchemical energy here. And again, she has the book, right? And I guess that could also sort of be the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups, I've never thought about it that way, but the Three of Cups could also be like an alchemical energy. It's kind of sort of like temperance, but it's like you're combining two things from two different cups into one cup, into that third cup. And that's kind of sort of how it's depicted in the Mystic Mondays tarot, right? It's like both of the cups are pouring into the third one. And this is divine feminine energy. So there could be like a divine masculine energy also pouring into this cup to give birth to something new. But I feel like the divine masculine side of this energy would be the recipe book. Because that's like the instruction. And then the actual creation comes in with this. I don't know. We'll start down here and we'll get into it. So, basement level 2, we got the Four of Pentacles Echidna. And Echidna is the mother of all monsters. That's Cerberus's mom. I'm like pretty sure. Let's. Oh gosh, now it's on the floor. Oh wait. Yes, here we go. Okay, it didn't fall all the way on the floor, but now she's kind of sort of in reverse. Hey Siri, who was Cerberus's mother?
The answer I found is Echidna.
Yep. In Greek mythology, Echidna was a monster, half woman and half snake. Oh, what do they call them? It starts with an L, I think. Half monster, half snake, Lamia, who lived alone in a cave. Oopsie, basement level 2, coming out the cave like I see it. Come on, synchronicities. Who lived alone in a cave. She was the mate of the fearsome monster Typhon, and was the mother of many of the most famous monsters of Greek mythology. So, children, we have the Sphinx. Oh, snap, she gave birth to the Sphinx, the Nemean lion. We talked about her. Galonis, Orthris, uh, Agathyrus, Phorcys, Cato, and sibling is. Oh no, her parents are Phorcys and Cato. Sibling is Thebe, or Thebe. They got children on here and they didn't even list Cerberus, really? They list Orthris and Agathyrus or Agathyrus. Who are those? Like the Nemean lion, I only know because of Hercules, and the Sphinx, like everybody knows. But that's interesting because if she is the mother of the Sphinx in this deck, the Sphinx is the Emperor. The Emperor is the Sphinx. So that's interesting. But she's the mother of lots of famous monsters, and she lives alone in a cave. And it's like, okay, but if she alone in her cave, who's she sleeping with? She ain't sleeping with herself and getting pregnant, right? Or am I the only one asking these questions? Okay. So in basement level 2 again, it's like, and I said that this is, it's like the closest to the molten core of the earth, right? Or not the molten, it's like the molten layer around the core, right? Under the crust. And under under the crust you get to the molten part. And they can tap into the molten part, channel it, and then use that to forge things, right? Or they can just go down there and forge stuff. I don't know, they're dwarves. Maybe they're hardy enough to survive the heat. Uh, but this is where things are forged. Things with mystical and magical properties. And then here we see the birth of monsters, the mother of monsters. And so there's a huge gap up here. But, I mean, like, if we consider a witch to be evil, then it's not that big, I guess. But we're not necessarily feeling that energy over here on today. But it's things that have the potential to be misused. Things that are also mystical and things that are magical. Now, the card that came out is. Ooh, who is this? The Conqueror of Coins. And the Conqueror of Coins actually came out facing this way. So the Conqueror of Coins and the Pillar are facing in opposite directions. Which is interesting because we see the triangle pointing this way, right? And then with the Conqueror of Coins, there's a triangle. Hold up, let's see if I can get it pointing the other way. Y'all see it? Well, so there's like two triangles in the pillar, but the one with the moon and everything in it, they're kind of sort of forming this encapsulation. Now, the Conqueror of Coins is something that is very slow. And it's also interesting because, again, like the last time I saw it, there's a sword in this, and a sword is about knowledge and knowing and awareness. There's also a moon on here eclipsed by a coin, and in the coin is the root system. Let's see. There we go. Right? So there's the sword. The moon that's being eclipsed, I would say that's like hidden knowledge. The sword is. So right off the bat, this is giving me a practical understanding. Practical. This is giving me partial understanding of very like occult knowledge, and we have the witch up here. And it's not bad in its essence, but something this powerful has the potential to be misused, and it's almost like that's the reason why it's buried so deep at the same time, right? There's something about things that are created down here where, again, like it gives these magical and mystical properties to whatever is forged. Now, I'm sure it's more than just, like molten core from the earth, or the molten core that imbues it with this ability, are these powers and these properties. But, oh, this is, girl, where am I going with this? What am I doing today, y'all? Y'all tell me. This is the Barbarian spread, but again, that's just the title. The theme here is the Three of Coins, the dwarf. Now, dwarves are usually wealthier than 3 coins, pretty much. But they also sort of, there's a sort of market involved, right? They trade. And so, let's see, what is this dwarf doing? Well, this dwarf got his gold hat on. He got his pickaxe that almost looked like a battle axe, girl. But it's rusted. It's rusted and it's cracked. Look like this dwarf's been away from home for a minute. Oh, he just slew. No. Yeah, oh yeah, he's standing on the head of some kind of rock monster, maybe. Girl, this dwarf ain't coming. This dude ain't gonna play no games. I'm shook. And he looking pretty like, what's next? So it's probably not rusted. She's probably actually bloodstained, but she is still cracked. And it looks like he's in the middle of the forest. Now, this could be a cave behind him. Doesn't look like it. Looks like a rock face or a cliff face. So this dwarf kind of sort of looks like he's a long way from home. Low key. Not gonna lie. Right, look at that. He's standing on, that's a head. That got eyes and everything. There's the dwarf. There's the axe. Let's see if I can get in on it. Not over there. There. I'll just hold it like this. There we go. There's the axe. Y'all can see it's blood stained and some little chips. And he's standing victorious, but he's a long way from home. And maybe that's why this is the Barbarian. This is about the misuse of something here. And so we have the Conqueror of Coins. Oh, I was gonna read it. I have the book. Let's see. Shall we divulge into? That's not the word I wanted, but it's fine. I'm so happy that they got back to me because it's like they're the first group of people I reached out to where I actually got a response and I got the thing. So, that's nice. So the Conqueror of Coins is grounded, hard work, and routine. The Conqueror of Coins is driven and methodical. They bring an energy of rigorous routine and trusting the process. The Conqueror understands that they may not see instant results, and they are okay with that. They feel good with gradual forward motion. Sometimes the Conqueror may seem boring, but in reality, there is a freedom that comes with their routine and work ethic. If you are embodying the qualities of the Conqueror, that is great. Keep it up and you will see the success you crave. If you have not developed your discipline, it is a good time to create a routine for yourself with firm boundaries. Now is not the time to try other methods. Go with what has been proven to work. Reverse, it signals a need for structure. We make progress by consistent focus and work. Showing up for that creates the container that allows us to build the energy around our project. Okay, I'll read that again. We make progress by consistent focus and work. Showing up for that creates the container that allows us to build the energy around our project. Don't lose sight of your vision. Go after it and build brick by brick. And I did not come from a YouTube clip. That's what Peppermint said. Class. Club, legend, art, theater. Built legendary status brick by brick, and I did not come from a YouTube clip. So this is something old, right? It's something old, something with a very firm foundation, something that's kind of sort of set, and it predates all of this instant gratification, pop spirituality, what's current and what's trending and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's why the routine around this is so important. Because there's something about this modern day energy. Again, it's like they're facing off. It's not fully what it is. And I'm trying to see where the end of this triangle is. 1 second. Because that's this one and that's this one. Is there no bottom? You gotta have a bottom. Because we see the star up there, right? That would be sort of the same orientation as this, right? You see how it's pointed that way? Let's get up in there. You see how it's pointed that way, and then over here, it's kind of sort of opening in the same direction. And so we have the star, and then we have the moon, but the star is in reverse, right? Because the tail of the star is sort of facing in this direction. We have phases and cycles of the moon here. So we see many different versions of the moon, but as this lays, none of them match this because they're all sort of like left to right, waxing and waning instead of top to bottom. And so there's something about this that's been, I don't want to say misappropriated, but that it's not being utilized according to the tradition of it. Now, the tradition of it isn't necessarily always like, whatever. But it's been hidden for good reason. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's not my job to know, right? This is just fun. We're just having fun. Is that what you call this? You call this fun? But again, we also have the root system in this coin. And the roots speak to growth, it speaks to community, and it speaks to nurturing something. And then we have the pillar up here, which is also a nurturing energy, supposedly. But they're clashing. Why are they clashing? Maybe we'll find out up here why they're clashing. Probably, because that's the surface. This is above, this is below, this is where they meet. But this is basement level 2. We may revisit basement level 2 when it's clarified by basement level 1. Basement level 1 is the 5 of Cups, the Mermaid, 4, 5, 3. The 3 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. Interesting. What if this is the 4 of Cups? The Mermaid. Mermaids can be sirens, low-key, but it doesn't say the siren. But I feel like, oh, I wonder if it's, let's take this branch of a narrative. Let's say that mermaids and sirens are the same creatures, but let's say that sirens aren't necessarily mermaids trying to drown sailors, right? Let's just say that the sailors are so enticed by the beauty of the mermaids and are enraptured by the melodiousness of their song that they throw themselves into the water, right? And it's like they try to accost these mermaids, and these mermaids swim away like, ew, no, gross. And the sailors, they never go back to the boat. They drown themselves trying to chase after whatever this is. But instead of looking at the own sort of flaw and folly of man, you blame the mermaid, right? Oh, the mermaid seduced me. She sang her siren song, and she forced me to throw myself upon her. And it's like, girl, ain't nobody forced you to do nothing. It's very much that, like, that whole, like, what was, I don't want to get into it, but y'all know where I'm trying to go with this maybe. Now we have also facing upwards the Ace of Wands. So yeah, and it's the way these two fell out. They're just opposing this. Oh, I mean, perfect. Excuse me. It's the power that entices. Same thing. Literally same thing. It's the power isn't in itself inherently good or bad, but it could just be monumentous. Is that the word I want? It could be a lot, like a lot of power. And they say absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? And maybe this is why these things are sort of hidden under the ground. Now, with this energy, it could be something that was entrusted to this witch, but it isn't necessarily feeling like that. And again, it kind of sort of speaks to the age and the era that we live in, where information is just so readily available, and not all of the information is complete. And another thing, it's like the information we kind of sort of use and utilize, but then when it comes to the practices associated with it, a lot of times we throw away or we ignore or we don't really fully pay attention to, right? And then it's like, we're out here. And I literally just today, I saw, what did somebody say? It was on Twitter. Somebody had a little like Mogwai. I forget how it's pronounced every single time. But they had like a little Mogwai toy in a cart. And they was like, yep, it's time. Or something like that. Feeding it after dark and Gremlins. It'll be interesting if Gremlins came out here, up here. Because Gremlins are actually in this deck. But it's like, we've gotten these Mogwai, and because they look cute, right? But we're not paying attention to all the rules and all the stipulations, and so we're just running around creating all these monsters because we don't know any better. And it's almost the case that at the same time, it's like there's no air down here. Right, we have earth and fire, and then the pillar. I feel like air would be like, maybe I should like think about this, right? Maybe I should like do some critical thinking before I just try to use or cast or do whatever I find on the internet, not knowing if it comes with a price or what that price would be. Now, if you were more traditionally trained, it almost seems like the price of what it is would be the first thing that you learn about, right? Because at the deepest level, we have this conqueror of coins, right? This is the recipe, this is the price, these are the ingredients, right? This is how much time it's going to take, and you don't want to rush it, because if you rush it, right, it's like when you get expedited shipping, it costs more, and mistakes can also be costly, and all of this stuff. Now, I guess there is actually a sword in this Conqueror of Coins card, right? The sword that runs behind it, but at the same time, it's like there's a coin on that sword and it's being eclipsed at the same time. And there's a third eye on the sword. I don't know, to me it reads partial understanding. And so it's like, since there is this sort of partial understanding, there's this energy can't be used fully as it was intended, but also at the same time, it's like information is more and more and more available, but our ethics and our, well, I don't want to say that, because I feel like overall as a whole, we're probably a little bit more ethical now than we were in the past, especially when it comes to intercultural um, matters and concerns. We're more aware, and we're still, getting there. But it's like the instant gratification culture is so prevalent right now that we don't give any worry or thought or concern or care to the consequences, right? And so that's what this energy has given me. And then let's see what this is. It's the Six of Swords, the Harpy. Oh my gosh, you guys. 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Ow. Oh. Ooh. Oh, come through, headache. It's just that one pain. Because what I was going to say is this should be a 7. This should be 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's why everything is effed up. This is why everything is effed up. Because it's like we can see the understanding escalating, right? We're getting closer and closer to completion. But then we go all the way back below where this even started. And I feel like it speaks of our understanding of the world around us and the elements and how energy sort of works and intertwines itself upon itself, and how it interacts with the physical, and how it is the physical, and how it precedes the physical, and how it succeeds the physical, right? Because after the physical goes away, it returns to energy. Oh goodness, no wonder why this pillar is. We're gonna read the pillar in reverse because I feel like she in reverse. I never read the Ace of Wands, did I? Let's go back and read that Ace of Wands just to see what they say about it. Wands. The Ace of Wands is energy, expansion, and urgency. If you were to visualize the Big Bang, the force from which all life was made, the Ace of Wands would be the idea that sparked the Big Bang. It is life springing forth from a creative place. It represents that which remains unseen to the outside world, thank you, but real to you, and it can spur a massive change. It is the beginning for sure, but drawing this card is an encouraging message from the universe to go forth and create. It also indicates a sense of urgency. It doesn't mean rush, but it means you have the momentum and passion, now use it. If you have been working on something, expect new insights and a potential positive shift. Excuse me. Consider this moment a gift. It is a bright opportunity, and you get to choose what you want to do with it. To capitalize on this opportunity, check all doubts at the door. You may be flooded with inspiration and ideas. Grab a pen and notebook and get it down. Do not worry about the hows of everything. Simply be in the flow. You know what this kind of sort of feels like that literally just came to me? It's like there's an energy that understands what this is at a very fundamental level. There are two energies that understand what this is at a very fundamental level. One of them will say a little higher aligned. The other one will say a little higher aligned, but to a star that we don't want to be aligned to necessarily. And the one that is misaligned, we'll say, because I'd say it is aligned to what it's supposed to be aligned to, but it's misaligned probably to what we want to do. And so it gets us to sacrifice our alignment for misalignment. But it's like this energy understands the nature of humans, it understands the nature of man. And so it will give us this book, it will give us this information, but partial information again. It will give us this information, but it won't tell us the cost, right? It'll tempt us with what we want, but it won't tell us what we have to pay to get it. And so, a lot of people just be like, oh yeah, girl, like magic, sign me up. But it's like, oof, girl, there's something backwards about this, right? Because 4, 5, 6, 3, like, no, that doesn't make sense. And again, we see the cards are pointing at whatever this is. Might as well see, what is it? Girl, can't make it up. Y'all see that? That's the tower. It points to the tower. It points to the corroding of the foundation that we've built. And this is the surface of the earth. So it's like below the surface, things are one way. On the top of the surface, everything is backwards. We're not doing what we were supposed to have been doing with the information. And again, it's almost like, when we find out about nuclear fission and fusion and all that stuff, what do? We build a bomb, right? We could have used it for power and all kinds of good things, but, we weaponize it. And now the fact that it's been weaponized, like whenever we use nuclear energy for anything, now there's this huge stigma around it because of how it initially appeared in the world, right? And maybe that's another thing. It's about appearances and first impressions. And it's a shame because it almost negates the higher potential for something when our first exposure to it is bad. And I ain't necessarily going there, but even when it comes to the media is a means of giving an impression to something before we even know it or experience it for ourselves. And so for some people, they never really form their own opinions outside of what they've been sort of told up front, and then what has been reinforced through the same sources a lot of times, or through the other information. It's all about control. This is about control. And I guess one of the best ways to control somebody is to make them think that they have something. And it's like, if I buy a pie and you take my pie and you cut it into a itty bitty slice and you give me that itty bitty slice of pie when the whole pie is mine, it's like, am I supposed to be satisfied with this? It's like, oh well, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing that for you. You think I'm gonna buy that, girl? The pie is mine. I'd like to have the pie, please. You ain't breadcrumbing me. How you breadcrumbing us stuff that should be rightfully ours? Hello. But it'll keep people satiated and satisfied, and we'll be following breadcrumb trails till the end of time that are diversionary and that never really get us to the truth of what all of this is supposed to be. And then this is a pillar in reverse. So instead of supporting us, instead of lifting us down, it's like instead of a supportive column, it's a bar in the jail cell. It's a jail bar. This is supposed to be a pillar of support that uplifts us and gets us closer to where, our collective destiny is guiding us. But instead of being a pillar of support, it's a jail bar. It's something used to keep us sort of tied down. And it preys on the lower, baser aspects of the human psyche and human nature, right? Greed, wealth, power, fame, gifts, strength, ability. And it's like what is it? Patience. Our patience has been eroded, and it also takes advantage of that. It's like, why would you do it the long way when you can have immediate results now? It's like, immediate results now. Yeah, I love it. But there's something to be said about the time and energy and effort that we put into dedicating a craft. And another thing about this piece of the pie being ours, it almost seems like even for people who may have, for whatever reason, I guess I'm over here, right? So even the people who may have had several lifetimes where they have cultivated this sort of understanding and knowing and knowledge, even if within one's own sort of tone, this information is there. It's like, well, the information is also on the outside, and what are you going to do? Are you going to delve into, are you going to delve into the information that lies within you? And are you going to pick up where you left off and relearn everything that you know from the inside? Or are you going to look outside of you and just pick up whatever somebody else is selling and do it their way? Right? And that's why we have this tower here. Again, it's another means of corroding from the inside out what this is supposed to be. And that's the thing I love about the tower. It's like there are these fractures inside the tower. It's like there's this tower and there was a seed planted inside the tower. And now it's growing outside. You see the roots up there and the roots down there. Now the interesting thing about the roots, right? Here, the roots are contained. Let me see if I can get it. Where is it at? There it is. There, the roots are contained to this coin. Here, the roots, they've escaped. And usually I would say that's a good thing, to not be limited and to grow roots outside and so we can grow bigger. But it's balance is important. And this is not in balance. If it were in balance, this tower wouldn't be in this shape. Right? It's like what people say about like how food is genetically modified and how it leads to like cancers and all of this other kind of stuff because of the hormones and all the other kind of stuff they give the feed animals or the animals that we eat. It's like the same thing. right? But we're convinced that this is okay when we're in this culture of more is more is more is more. When we become less and less when we become less and less satiable, when we become more and more insatiable, more and more impatient. I want more and I can't wait. I want more and I can't wait. I want more and I don't want to wait, right? It's like this Netflix, there was a Netflix special. Maybe his name was Donnie something, Donnie Chung. I can't remember. But he was like, they got Amazon Prime. He was like, I can't wait 2 days. I want this now. Like, I want you to break into my house and like put this in my hand as soon as I click the button. Right? It's kind of sort of that energy, honestly, low key. And whatever this is, it needs time to grow because it's almost like when you take the time, you learn all of the properties in a way that with the 7 and then the 8, you would be able to master it, right? Because the 7 is like building upon this in every imaginable way, giving yourself a pretty solid foundation. And then with the 8, it's about practice, 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 because practice makes perfect. It's the energy of perfecting the 8. The 7 is the energy of assembling and acquiring and assembling and integrating that energy, the knowledge, to then begin your practice, right? So it's like 7 would be the apprenticeship while you're under your master. And then the 8 would be when your master says, okay, now it's time for you to go out and it's time for you to work. And as you go out and work, you develop your own style outside of what you were taught. But it's like for a lot of things, it seems we defer back to other people. And they defer back to other people. And they defer to some random article that they found on the internet. And then that random article on the internet could have been written off of another article, or that article on the internet could have been written off of limited information that somebody gained from somebody else, right? Because I mean, I feel like it's a not very well kept secret that a lot of times, or 9 times out of 10, if you're a tourist or an outsider and you go to a community and you seek their knowledge, they're probably going to give you, like, you're not going to get full tea, girl. You're not going to get the full tea, right? You're going to get half tea, you're going to get diluted tea, you're going to get watered down tea, you're going to get like a third of a tea leaf that touched the surface of the water, right? Instead of the proper, like, instead of the whole cup. You're like, yes, this tea, or the water in this cup, touched a tea leaf. It is sacred and holy. Here it is. And then you just drink it up like, oh my gosh, right? And then they go back and they laugh about how, like, girl. Or not laugh, but again, there are certain things that need to be protected, right? And it's kind of sort of human nature to not be able to resist the siren song of these things, but these things just naturally are what they are. And then it's like we look at a kitten as children as if they're monsters. And in reality, not in reality, but it seems like a lot of times, we encroach upon the territory of these creatures. We demonize them because we want access to their area or through their area. So we call them monsters, we slay them, and then we claim whatever they had. Who's the real monster, right? But yeah, that's what this is, I guess. I did not expect this from the dwarf. But again, like I said, this dwarf is so far outside of like his home. And now the dwarf is acting like a human. Like, what did that? We don't know the story behind this, but what did that poor whatever do to this dwarf? Right? I'm like, girl, you was a long way from the mountains, from the caves, from the underground. And it's not that we have to stay where we are, but again, there's something about this energy that's being misused, and it directly conflicts with what it was being built up to be. So with this 3 of Cups, it's like, we're going to come in and we're gonna use this in a way that gets us what we want, right? Even if it completely violates the sort of foundations and principles that whatever this gift was established upon. So that's the Barbarian spread. We're the Barbarians. It's not quite an energy that I thought, but I feel like the title fits. Barbarians, they go in like just like the Vikings. They go in, they pillage, they take, they repurpose, and then they carry it on. And then if it happens to them, and then if it happens to the people who did it to them, there's so much that's been lost that we don't even know the original functioning of this. We don't even know what this could be at its highest potential because of whatever we chose to do with it on the surface, and now there's this bad taste in our mouth about it. Even if it has the potential to solve a lot of our problems now. And it's like, and now we're in the energy of seeking alternatives because of said bad taste and because of said misuse. Talking about nuclear energy power and the bombs specifically as one specific instance, right? Or we kind of sort of have this like corporate greed type of mentality where it's like, yeah, like that's good and that would work, but we can't make money off of that, or that disturbs the systems that are already in play, and this well isn't dry enough yet for us to stop tapping it and to go into something else, right? Let's take the planet to the brink of destruction, doing whatever we're doing, and then once there's no more oil left to tap into, then we'll start all the green stuff. And it's like, girl, really? But again, this energy, it preys on the insecurities of the human psyche, and those weaknesses, and the greed and the ego, and the fostering impatience, and the need for status and to stand above something and somebody else. But I feel like at its core, it's gonna be changing. My Mama G really at the core of the earth, like, girl, like, oof. What are they doing up there? What are they doing? And then somebody else was like, well, they're following the books that, the other people gave them. Half information and lies. So that's this. We'll get our final cards. This was, when I first saw the pillar, I thought it would be like good. Didn't expect it to go this way, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Right? And then we got the chariot at the bottom of the deck. So maybe it'll be us moving forward in the correct ways, or adjusting and shifting into something that more aligns with the higher potentials of what we have available to us. Like, we have a lot of knowledge and we have a lot of resources, and we got lots of smart people on this planet, right? If we put them and all of that towards higher potentials, we'd be able to, I feel like, do a lot in not that long, honestly. It feels like it wouldn't even take us that long to really come into the future that people were seeing, back in the day. Now, I ain't saying flying cars necessarily gonna happen tomorrow, but they would probably happen a lot sooner than the pace that we're going at right now. Okay, I actually want to get this one last. Did I read that card? What was it? The Tower? No, I didn't. And I didn't read the Pillar either, so I'm actually going to go back and read those because I forgot. Yeah, something told me to, like, go the other way. And I'm glad I did, because I would have been lost if I didn't. So we'll read the Tower and then the Pillar. Excuse me. The Tower is collapse, losing foundation, and change. Losing the foundation here when we have the foundation down here. Goodness, it's fine. The Tower carries a weighty reputation, and most people don't love to see it. It brings rapid change and a total upheaval, though this does not always mean quote-unquote bad. The reason the tower is often feared is because it carries the energies of a foundation completely crumbling. And when that happens, all structures built on top of the foundation crumble too. Exactly. Anyone who has been dumped by someone they've been with a long time understands this. The life you planned for, the life you built in your head with this person is gone. You aren't just losing them, but an entire future. This is such a powerless feeling, and it can take a long time to rewire the brain to create a new future. Because with any sudden change, the brain is actually rewiring. Each time you recall the thing each time you recall the thing you have lost, your brain is letting go and then slowly releasing the neural network that we have built around that thing. This is a long process that cannot be rushed, and the grief that accompanies any crumbling foundation is a lot. You are being encouraged to completely surrender to this. Do not fight it, or it will only prolong the upheaval. Allow life to flow and understand that you are simply a part of that flow. The profound change this card brings for you is absolutely necessary. And also remember that the tower can indicate a profound positive change, but it would still mean the previous ways of being have died. Use the cards around the tower as indicators. And the cards around the tower were basically the pillar in reverse, where it was the jail bar, the jail cell. And then we had the Ace of Wands. So it's like we have this Ace of Wands creativity, and then we got this pillar Empress energy, like clashing at this tower. It's like, girl. So I'm actually going to read the pillar in reverse because that's how I'm feeling her. Excuse me. The pillar reversed indicates that there is stagnancy. You may be feeling stuck and unable to bring life forth through you. Try not to focus on what you are not doing right now, but on creating a foundation of confidence and self-love. It may also indicate that you are doubting your ability to hold so much. Try to ground yourself in the coming days and focus on your self-care. This will help you fill your well and expand your container. So this is talking about building a foundation on self-love and confidence, which honestly are two of the things that the commercial and advertising and marketing industries try to tear down within us because they can't sell us stuff when we love ourselves. There's a lot of stuff that they can't sell us when we love ourselves and when we're confident, right? And there's also some other things that we don't pay as much for when we realize that we don't need them, like they try to convince us that we do. And it's again, it stands directly opposite to the sort of narrative and the story and the foundation that has sort of come to be. There is no incentive for companies or people who benefit in an old energy to switch things up. And that's why tower moments have to happen. But when it comes to the collective, ultimately at the end of the day, it's almost like we have to decide that we're not going to do whatever and that we're not going to fall in line or do, because as long as we continue to fall in line, then they'll continue to sort of not change. But again, this is about reclaiming within ourselves that which we already have and not necessarily depending on what's outside of us as much. Okay. Last card, please. Final card. Final card, please. So I can go to sleep, please. I want some water. I'm getting a little warm, a little dehydrated, throat getting a little dry. Oh, is that Cerberus? Yup, Judgment, Cerberus. And I'm actually going to take it, number one, because, it's the child of Echidna, and it stands at the gates of the underworld. It is the guardian, not the guardian, but it stands at the realm of transformation. And also because, like I said, the doors were related to Hades because they both live under the ground. They're both associated with wealth because of all the precious gems and ores and minerals under the ground and stuff like that. And then we got the guard dog that comes out, which is the closest thing to Hades in this deck outside of death, I guess. And this is Judgment. Bottom of the deck is the Page of Cups, the Satyr. We get that Pan energy. Oh, girl, why are cards falling? Hello. Cerberus is down. Judgment is on the ground. Is it in reverse? Yup. I'll be putting you back up right. This is about an internal as well as an external thing. I feel like a lot of times we look at the outside and we see what's wrong with it, but we don't necessarily fully. Well, it's a process of discovery, right? And we have to give ourselves the time and the patience to discover how we've been affected and all the ways that, the program has wormed and rooted its way in our brains and our patterns of behavior and everything else. So it's about having a critical eye directed on the inside to see, what parts are me and what parts aren't me. It's not to be extremely critical and harsh on myself, but, it's just like, what's actually me. Because the things that are actually me will lead me to all of that which I was initially seeking outside of myself, but it will lead me there in a way that doesn't require me to sacrifice as much as what I would have to sacrifice otherwise. Namely, being the self, being me, us. Okay, there we go. Who this? Ah, girl. Y'all see her? The devil. Really? Really? I don't know why she's been coming out so much. I'm like, kind of sort of high key over you, but at the same time, I guess you got a job to do. I don't know. And then the Two of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. Now, the Two of Wands is giving me that crossroadsy type of energy. It's like there are two ways to go about getting this one thing. There's the easy way, and then there's the hard way. There's the short way, and then there's the longer way. And again, a lot of times we've been conditioned to pick what's easy, what's quick, and what requires the least amount of work, but we don't realize that that's what's most costly. And sometimes it comes with prices that we can't pay. And so then we have to lose and sacrifice things that we didn't think we would go without, and we end up in a worse position than when we started. But again, that energy preys on your insecurities. And we should know our insecurities well enough to know when they're being sort of targeted and picked at, right? Like when I was a kid, I had a very short temper. And people loved to pick with me sometimes. And so I got good at knowing when people were just like messing with me to get a reaction out of me. And, I wasn't trying to get in trouble when I went home. So I had to stop giving people a reaction. It's kind of sort of the same thing. So this is where I'm going to end this. I hope, I don't mean, say I hope this was helpful, but girl, I hope we sort of culture and re-civilize ourselves, right? And we become a little less barbaric. Barbaric towards each other, barbaric in how we go about getting what we want, and barbaric in the attitude of sometimes taking it instead of creating for ourselves. And that's another reason why that pillar energy was probably in reverse. It's because sometimes, regardless of if we kind of sort of really know it or not, we dig into these areas of taking instead of creating, right? And when we take instead of create, we imprison ourselves. First of all, because of, like, if you're just straight up taking, it may come with a certain amount of karmic whatever that you have to repay. But also it separates you from that is within you, that is the creator, right? Because if you're not creating, then you're not engaging in that creator functionality. And if you are acquiring without creating, you are sort of giving that creative ability less and less and less and less credence and credit, when you can just go get it somewhere else. It's like, why would I make it myself when I can just go to the restaurant and pick it up, right? Hot, fresh, and ready. And yeah, it would be cheaper if I bought all the groceries, but it would also cost me more time, and I'm hungry now. And I get it. But yeah, so I'll catch y'all later. That was interesting. I don't know what I expect over here. You know, that's the one thing. So I went live on my Legacy channel today, and the message that came out was actually kind of sort of similar to what came out here. But it was like, wow, this is so positive. It's so positive. And like, just be sure that, we're doing this as we move forward. But it's really positive instead of like being super harsh, right? And then being like, well, as long as you do it, then you'll be good. It was just interesting that I feel like pretty much, it was a very similar message, but just told in a very different way. And I did like the lighter approach, not gonna lie, NGL. But I'll see y'all later. Have a good one, and I'll catch y'all whenever I catch y'all. Bye.